The following program is a production of HEW Entertainment and contains views, opinions, commentaries, and content that may offend some subscribers of this show. Listener discretion is advised.
It's that time once again for HEW Entertainment Radio.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Hosted by Jonathan Clarke.
Gotta be the man! You gotta be the man! Woo!
Be sure to join us in the live chat room during the show.
Hulkamania is running wild like it's never ran before.
Call us on one of our request lines. If you live in the United States, call us at 1-641-985-7800, box number 3729288. If you're from Canada and would like to call us from 1-647-724-4194, box number 3729288. Long distance charges may apply in some areas.
I've been the world heavyweight champion 10 times.
Or you can always drop us a line at MySpace, myspace.com/HEW Entertainment.
And you will rest in peace.
Emailing us works for you too. Email us hewwrestling@hotmail.com.
I am a wrestling god. JBL.
And now, without any further ado, here is your host of HEW Entertainment Radio on the official website of HEW Entertainment, Jonathan Clarke.
The champ is here.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. HEW Entertainment Radio is inviting you to comment on our video blogs, join the conversation, and like us. So what are you waiting for? Log on and listen now.
Don't miss out on any of the action. Download our app on the App Store, Google Play, and the official website of HEW Entertainment. Once you download and install it, you'll get caught up on news, YouTube videos, and more. Download it now.
I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives it through. While I've got the move that really moves. I said chill up and down that spine. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I make them hot. I make them shiver. Things get weak whenever I'm around. They see me walk. They hear me talk. I make them feel like they're on cloud nine. Just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. The best there is your hard-eyed girl. The best there was. Hands off the merchandise. I'm just
I have never been the biggest Bret Hart fan since at least the lateral part of the 1990s, so why would I be doing a video commentary on Bret Hart's diagnosis of cancer and his fight with it? Because it would be highly unlikely of me not to comment on this news, because it's really big news for the Bret Hart fans out there that I know do exist, because Bret Hart did have many fans out there. The majority of them were Canadian wrestling fans. Not so many in the U.S. existed, although there were United States fans of Bret Hart over the years. I was never the biggest Bret Hart fan, and that had a lot to do with how he had animosity towards how many people in wrestling had treated him, how he felt that he deserved to have been treated, and how he treated people in the United States, especially during that angle, even though it was just a wrestling angle between Canada and the United States in the lateral part of the 1990s, was just how Bret Hart received the United States fans and population. To me, it was really ridiculous, and a lot of other things Bret Hart did outside of the wrestling business for over 14 years were really out there and really ridiculous, and nothing far from it. So because I was never the biggest Bret Hart fan, I didn't go out of my way to write all these columns on Bret Hart or drop all these video commentaries on Bret Hart, because there was nobody out there that could tell me that Bret Hart had more 5-star matches than Shawn Michaels, because he never did. People like Shawn Michaels always had a way and always made a consistent habit of outperforming Bret Hart in some of the biggest matches of all time. Bret Hart may have competed in ladder matches and cage matches and many championship matches throughout his career, but there was no way that he outperformed someone like Shawn Michaels. Even if Shawn Michaels lost to him, say at Survivor Series back in 1992, it was always Shawn Michaels as the heel and the one who was always the guy who outperformed people on the major stages and the bigger levels. And to me, that's really what defined their legacy. If anything Bret Hart was remembered for, it was winning championships, but it was against people that Bret Hart could work with. And now knowing that this is happening to Bret Hart, this has got to be really heartbreaking news to every Bret Hart fan and supporter out there who I know do exist. There's always been a significant amount of tragedy that's happened for Bret Hart's family. The Hart family have always had tragedy haunt them and seem to follow them everywhere they've gone, from the death of Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, who of course overdosed a number of years ago, I believe. That happened back in 2002. There still are a number of Hart family members that still do exist out there and are in good health. But following the passing aways of people like Stu Hart, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog, even Brian Pillman, who was in close affiliation with the Harts for a number of years as part of the New Hart Foundation in the lateral part of the 1990s. I mean, tragedy has always had a way of following the Hart family, and that's why in the book, Chris Benoit and the Hart Family Tragedy, that I profiled a number of years ago with Canadian author Scott Keith out of Saskatchewan, we talked about a lot of things about the Hart family and how all this unfortunate stuff seemed to follow them everywhere they went. And this comes as the latest unfortunate news that's going to haunt the Hart family for a really long time. It's somewhat of a plague the Harts have had given to them by professional wrestling that they can't seem to get away from, and have something actually beneficial happen for the Hart family. Seeing Bret Hart come back in 2010, I think that didn't bury the hatchet. Although WWE believed it had buried so much of the hatchet, I think that there was so much in the hatchet that still is still out there and still very much alive, because that animosity and that kind of personal grudge never goes away. It follows you everywhere you go. And the thing that I discussed in the interview with the author of the book, Chris Benoit, and the Hart Family Tragedy, Scott Keith out of Saskatchewan, was the fact that, this kind of stuff you're never going to get away from. It's always going to follow you. And even though people have certain opinions when it comes to the Hart family, the thing was, we weren't backstage. We weren't behind that proverbial closed door, and we don't know what goes on behind these proverbial closed doors. We may think that something may have happened, and this is what's why. It may have happened because of some contractual dispute, how Vince McMahon didn't want Bret Hart leaving the company as champion and walking into World Championship Wrestling in the lateral part of the 90s. Here's the bottom line. Bret Hart was leaving the company. He had been involved with the business for over 14 years, and Vince McMahon, as the promoter, did what he had to do to save his reputation, and he didn't care what he had to do, even if it came down to taking every opportunity and everything Bret Hart had worked for away from him, and that's what he did in Montreal. There was no way he was going to let Bret Hart walk into Montreal on top as champion and walk into the rival company, World Championship Wrestling, and work with the likes of Hulk Hogan, Sting, many of the people that worked for World Championship Wrestling, of course worked for Vince McMahon in the past, and there was no way that he was going to let World Championship Wrestling thrive off of WWE's biggest superstar at that time. So Vince McMahon did what he had to do, taking matters into his own hands, and presented the opportunity to Shawn Michaels and Triple H as part of DX, the original DX, to do what they did and get away with it. And that's obviously what led Bret Hart to do some of the things that he did, showing up on World Championship Wrestling the way he did, saying he wanted to go back to World Championship Wrestling, which had nothing to do with his love for professional wrestling. It just had everything to do, every bit of what to do with over $9 million. That's what the contract came down to, $9 million offered by Ted Turner in World Championship Wrestling and Eric Bischoff, who was the promoter at the time, for Bret Hart to jump ship, as they called it, from WWE to WCW, which he took full advantage of. And I can't blame Bret Hart for doing that, because of the money that was weighing over his head very significantly. $9 million, making $3 million per every year of those 3 years that he would have been involved with World Championship Wrestling, taking full advantage of it. And there still is that animosity. You can never get away from that sort of thing. And I think this news is just another way for WWE to kind of put their differences behind them when it comes to Bret Hart. You know, so many wrestlers I noticed on Bret Hart's Facebook fan page posting things either on their Twitters that were linked up to their Facebook fan pages, or posting things directly in terms of the Facebook post directly to the Facebook fan page of Bret Hart. He has a lot of pictures